One. What's happening, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Eli Rogers, and we are back with the homie Ram Blacc today, rapper and music artist. Because as he says, he's got an alter ego; he can do more than just rap. I'm glad to have you here, man. Go ahead and tell me a little bit about yourself and how you got into music.
Man, shit. My father probably. I think my dad. They had a band when I grew up called the Techniques. They traveled all around Kentucky, man. They had vinyl. They really pressed it, pushed it, and went and did their thing, man. So
oh, wow.
I grew up as an athlete. And you know the old saying, you know, every athlete wants to be a musician. Every musician wants to be an athlete. You know what I'm saying? So
we're the Ron Artest or like on the or 2 Chainz, right? You play ball.
Shaq, all of them, bro. You know what I'm talking about? All of them. So I just grew up watching my dad. You know, my dad taught himself how to sing, taught himself how to play the piano. You know what I mean? So it was just always an honor just to do music with my dad. My dad ended up hiring me to work for his little karaoke business. That was my first DJ job.
Okay.
I DJ'd.
And was that like bar or restaurant bar? Or?
Everything. Anywhere, anything, everywhere. Backyard boogies.
Yeah.
Clubs, you know what I'm talking about? Bars. We even did a German festival before, like, bro. We did everything.
Okay. You know like weddings, everything. The whole
we did everything, man. So I was in high school. You know what I mean? So I was playing sports, going to school, and then helping my dad on the weekend with the karaoke business. You know what I mean? And DJ. And so I'd always been rapping. And back in the day, we used to take the.
If you don't mind me asking, when you say you went to high school, where exactly did you go to high school? What city and state?
Las Vegas, Nevada. I went to Clark High School in Las Vegas. You feel me? Okay. So we always rap, man. And back in the day, they used to make the CDs and they make the super mix CDs where it'd be like, you know what I mean, a single, and then it'd be the club mix, then it'd be the instrumental, then it'd be the acapella. So we'd always take the instrumentals, man, and rap on them. You know what I mean?
Which is the right way to do it. I would say now that with the market being so saturated, there's a lot of artists, right? They don't understand that kind of side of things, and I don't really either. Could you talk more about that? You know, because I know I was watching some kind of podcast, and they were talking about how artists don't know that you have to have the acapella, the instrumental, the clean version, the dirty version. What is the purpose behind that?
Well, they had it. They had it back in the day because it was like a super mix. You know what I'm saying? So when you buy a single, now you don't really buy singles no more. You stream the song. You know what I mean? But back in the day when they sold CDs, you could buy a single, and that single would have 2 or 3 different mixes on it. You know what I mean? And the acapella. So all of that is purposeful. Basically, when the DJ gets a single, the DJ can use the acapella on a different beat. They can use the beat when they doing their DJ. You know what I mean? So when you would get these super singles, bro, it'd have all these different versions of the song, and we would take the instrumentals and rap on them. And that's kind of how we got started rapping, man, just rapping over whatever we heard on the radio. So
it's more like the purpose of the DJs. I never thought about that because I'm never thinking from a DJ perspective, and so that's good insight. Absolutely. And then I know that you also play football, which is I'm super excited to get into, man. I can't live it down. I know that you played in the Big Ten, which is super huge. But before we even dive into that, tell me more about the Alter Egos album.
Man,
what inspired that?
I started the Alter Egos album probably 2007 when we did them as mixtapes, and I got 4 different mixtapes out, Alter Egos, and there's different versions of it or different themes to each one. Oh, okay. And finally,
is there different, like, how do you divide the different versions? Because I see that on the album cover. I'm looking here on Spotify. It's got 4 different yous. Is one you like? This is the gangster version. This is the make love version. This is the businessman version. Or how is it divided? If you don't mind me asking.
Something like that.
Okay.
All different names that I've gone by throughout my time in life. You know what I mean? And each one of those names represents a different side of me. That could be the gangster version of me, or the business side of me, or the wisdom side of me. You know what I'm saying? Or the R&B side of me. So yeah, that's what the alter egos are. There's even one alter ego that's not on the cover. His name is Disco Blacc. That's like the 70s version of me. You know what I mean? Okay. So they all different alter egos. They all come out at different times, and it's not like something that's made up. These are different parts of me that I've really lived and had the experiences as this person. So when I write from each different alter ego's standpoint.
So it sounds like there's more substance. I would say that obviously the music industry is not, it doesn't have that anymore. So obviously if you guys listen and watching this, make sure that you go stream Bro's music, get an experience with some substance, get some depth in you. You know, and someone actually with talent. I think it really helps, you know, obviously having a dad that was able to show you the music early on. So did you start with piano before you got into rapping? Can you dive more into that? At what age did you, when you were like, I'm really going to start getting into rap and getting to start creating myself?
My voice is my instrument. I never learned to play an instrument. I played the drums for a little while. Drums wasn't really for me. You know what I mean? I could beat on them. I could make a beat now. You know what I mean? All that was cool, but I was so wrapped up in ball that instruments and music was what my hobby was. It was something my dad did. I watched him do it, so I played with it. It wasn't until I was probably 22. I was on my way to the NFL. My dad had just talked to me. I had probably dropped my first mixtape, and I let my dad hear it, and he was like, hell no, if you're going to do music, you need to put the time in to music like you do football. You know what I'm saying? So
that makes sense, that same work ethic.
Yeah, that's when it really hit me like, yeah, I can't put out some music that's for play. You know what I'm saying? This shit can't be for fun. This shit got to be serious.
So before we even get to 22, I want to dive back because this shit is kind of dope. I don't think that everyone always gets to hear these kind of stories. Starting back like from high school when you started playing football, from freshman to JV to varsity, can you walk me through some of the transition or some of the highlight moments that you had as a high school player? And then I want to ask you more about college too here in a second.
As far as what?
Was there like certain games like where that, you know, that really stood out to you, or maybe an experience of getting recruited, you know, like where you were just, you know, young, you walked out of the stadium, you got your, you know, your clothes back on, you're going to meet out your dad out by the car, and there's a guy in a suit and a tie. How does the recruitment process work?
I balled. I was a baller, bro. Period. Like you can look my name up. You can see who I was. Like, you know what I'm saying? And when it comes to football, that shit is so far ago. It ain't even nothing I really talk about. But if you want to know who I was and what I did, I balled the fuck out. You understand? As a sophomore, I played. As a freshman, I set the freshman rushing records as a running back at my high school.
Varsity? What?
Yeah. And then sophomore year, I got moved up to varsity. I won a state championship on an undefeated team sophomore year. They moved me to quarterback junior year, which was really not my position, but I played it. You know what I'm saying? On defense is where I really did my job. You know what I mean? I hit people, I hurt people. I like the physical aspect.
Like a defense.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I had a daughter at the age of 15. You know what I mean? So I had to decide in going to college, and then I got a job. Like I started working at the grocery store at 15. So I had to immediately make a decision on what I was going to do for college. Like I had a whole bunch of schools looking for me. I was like 24th on the West Coast as an athlete. You know what I mean? I had Nebraska, Colorado, Florida, Miami. I had it. You know what I mean?
If you were doing numbers like that, because I know so here in Michigan, like we play football, but I always say we don't play football like in Nevada or Texas or like Alabama. Like I feel like down south, I don't know why, man. You guys are just better at sports. So the being a father and going to play college football must have not been easy, man. So I got to salute you for that.
It was tough. I was just talking about it today, and I got a little a men's club, a men's group that we talk on Sundays, and that was one of the things somebody asked me today was about if I had to have done my college career over, would I went somewhere else? And I couldn't really, you know, I chose to stay at UNLV, stay in Las Vegas because I was a dad. I wanted to be around my daughter, you know what I mean? Yeah. But I think about it often, like, what would another college experience somewhere else with a better football program, with a different environment, what would that have been like? I mean, what would that adventure have been?
Yeah, no, the only reason I asked that I touched on that point is so I'm a dad as well too. I had a kid when I was 22, but I never had to balance anything like that of that kind of nature. So I wanted to ask a little bit about that.
Yeah, that shit was tough, bro. That being 15 and at that time we went to school at like 6:30 in the morning. You know what I mean? We had to be at school at 6:30. School started at 6:30, and then we got out at like 1:31, and I would go to football practice, and then I leave practice by like 4. 4:30ish and try to be at work. I rode my bike, try to ride my bike to Lucky's. It was probably like 3-4 blocks away, 5 blocks away. Ride my block to Lucky's, man. Do my little grocery store bagging thing, man. Get home, do my homework at night. Be going to bed like 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, bro.
You're superhuman. Yeah.
But 15 years old, you know what I mean? 15 years old, you know what I mean? Like,
that's a lot of responsibility and accountability put on shoulders. Yeah, absolutely.
It was crazy. It was crazy.
Well, let's dive more back into music because that's what I'm more interested in. I was able to watch the music video. Let's see here. It was called I'm Focused. I'm sorry about that. I'm Focused. One of the things that really stuck out to me is that you can sing, but you can also rap. And I'm not talking about like, you know, where you can rap a little bit and you kind of sing like Drake and you're melodic, like you can really sing. Was some of that taught from Pops as well too? I know that you said he played piano, but you said he sang as well, correct?
Yeah. No, I don't. I never. My dad didn't teach me music. You know what I'm saying?
That's just where the inspiration came from.
Yeah, that's just where the tools of the music came from. Me and my dad didn't start doing music together until probably like 4 years ago. He hit me up and asked me to remake one of his natural songs, something that he had already written and they had put out. And I ended up remixing it and putting it back out as a remix using that beat and changing his hook and all kinds of shit. So that was actually the first time me and my dad had ever done any kind of music together. You know what I mean? He was just my inspiration. He was my vision of, if I'm going to do music, I got to do it hard because this is something he's passionate about. He wasn't going to let me do it half-assed when it was his passion. You feel me?
No, that's dope, man, because I don't, not every rapper has that. They don't have somebody be like, hey, listen, man, you got to get it together.
And I don't think, I mean, I hear you calling me rapper and I'm not mad at you for it, but I'm not a rapper, man. I'm an artist. You know what I mean? Like, I can do much more than just rap. You know what I mean? So when it comes to my music, that's kind of something. In all my albums that I got out, the first album is called The Brotherhood. That's with me and my artist, 11 EMC. We put out a real pro-Black, I shouldn't even say pro-Black, just pro-brotherhood, pro-men, pro-people album. My first personal album was called Emotion of Men, which was really an actual hip-hop and B and spoken word album. And then this album was my album off of my mixtape where everybody's like, yo, you've been doing these mixtapes. Why don't you do an album like that? And the Alter Egos was really the first time that you get to see Ran Blacc as a whole, rather than it just being an album of music put out. This is Ran Blacc as a whole. You feel me?
And I want to ask you about that transition as far as, because obviously music is going digital. What was it like for you going from like the CD era where you would hustle CDs or to then going into the digital era? What was the transition like?
I still hustle CDs, homie. Hold on. I still hustle CDs, homie.
That's how you do it. Oh, I like that cover too.
I still hustle CDs. You know what I'm saying? I ain't never stopped hustling CDs. You know what I'm talking about? So it got easier to make the music, man. We talk about it a lot as an old head. You know what I mean? The music industry when I was younger was hard to get into, man. You know,
from the era of like the 8-track.
Yeah, I'm from the era like the CD, the mini disc. Like I'm from. You know what I mean? I'm a 70s baby. I'm an 80s baby. I was born 78. You feel what I'm talking about? So I grew up in the 80s, 90s, and 2000s. You feel me?
But that was analog era, though, to a certain extent, wasn't it?
We had digitals, too. You know what I mean? We were coming into the digital area, but it was so hard to get into the music game then. You feel me? And I could say when 2000 hit, 2005-ish, it became real simple to get into the music game. SoundCloud, Reverb, you know what I mean? All these different websites and applications that gave artists an opportunity where you could record at your house and put your music right out, homie. You didn't need nobody to put your music out. We used to put them bitches on CDs, blank CDs, you know what I'm talking about? And then let somebody hear our music. We didn't have a platform to put out so people could hear the shit, you know what I mean? So the game has just gotten a little bit easier, but it's also gotten a lot more complex because everything is so digital now, you feel me?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I still think it's a great thing to sell CDs. I see a lot of really strong independent artists that still sell CDs. I used to listen to a lot of Tech Nine, him and his crew. They still, press CDs and sell them.
I fuck with Tech. You know what
I mean? And I feel like you get a whole lot more money, than a stream, obviously, selling the album. So
I know in growing up, man, I watched Master P. and I watched E40 do it. I watched Wu-Tang do it. That's kind of how I modeled my business and my record company when I got the opportunity. I seen Master P hustle. He dropped a fucking CD every Tuesday. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I seen E40 and them make $1 million right out the trunk. You know what I'm talking about? So when it comes to my record label and the way we do things, we definitely not a new age company. We don't run things like the new age companies. Like we're fundamentally grounded in the 90s. You know what I mean? And that's kind of how we run our companies, with the same principles that we did in the 90s.
Yeah, I was also going to say that about your sound. So obviously I grew up in the 90s. I'm a huge fan of East Coast rap. But one thing that I noticed about you guys is, you know, sometimes a lot of the new age music is entirely auto-tuned.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't see that overly being used at all in your music, and I think it gives it a really nice sound. Also, the studio, I'm not going to ask where you record at. I could imagine you record at a high-level studio because the sound is really high quality. What is that like going to a bigger studio to get that sound? And the reason I'm asking is that because I feel like a lot of independent artists don't have that. Usually when you get some music, someone's like, hey, listen to my song, man. Right?
It sounds bad.
Yeah.
It sounds bad. Yeah. No, I used to, so we call that garage music. When you get a CD and it's not mixed well and it doesn't sound good, you know what I mean? We call that garage music. We know you was in the garage recording and this is the best you got with it. You feel me? So I made a whole lot of garage music, man. You can go to my Reverb right now, bro, and you could probably hear over 50. We used to put out, like, me and my man Do Gotti, man. We used to put out like music like 6-7 songs a week. You know what I mean? We was just dropping music to be dropping music, trying to be heard. You know what I mean? So, and this is just 10 years ago. I ain't talking about when I was 20 or 30. I'm talking about just 10 years ago, brother, when we was trying to make sure that we got the music heard. You know what I mean? We was dropping on Reverb every other day, dropping something new. You feel me? So,
well, you gotta start somewhere, but I'm sure that helped you sharpen your craft as well, too.
It helped, you know, first and foremost, when I got into a big studio, I wasn't intimidated by the studio. You know what I mean? I have over 20-something artists, comedians, models, and all that. When I take a new artist into a studio who's an artist that raps at home, has been recording at home most of his career, you take them into a big studio, they become intimidated by the whole atmosphere.
I've seen it. Yeah, it's a little because you go into a really nice environment, it's really quiet, right? And everything's nice and in order, and you're like, something's not right about
this. Yeah, it's right? A little different. It's a little different. It can be intimidating. So, I just felt like my transition from going from garage music to recording in somebody's room to going to a studio. I moved to San Diego and started working with Island Swag, and then started working with my engineer that I've been working with now for well over 10 years, Loose Lyric. And you know what I mean? It was
keep him. That man.
Yeah. No, I tell everybody he's the secret to the music. You know what I mean? He's helped me create the sound. He understands the sound. He understands my vision and what I'm doing. When we write, you know what I mean? He's my guy. You know what I mean? He's my secret weapon.
The engineers are like the secret plugs in the game. I feel like they got all they're like Morpheus. They're like, you can go this way, you can go this way. I can get you this. I can get you that. You need this for this.
And he's an artist, right? He's an artist himself. So he makes music too. You feel me?
Oh, wow.
So there's times when I could be in there recording and my engineer be like, hey, you want me on this song? That's when I know I'm making a dope song. Because he'll sit there and just engineer, be quiet and mix. You know what I'm saying? When I've done laid a dope ass hook or something, and I put down a verse and he'd be like, yo, you want me on this song? That's when I know, this shit hot. Yeah.
Matter of fact, let's do a collaboration album.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's my guy. Shout out to my man, Loose Lyric out of San Diego.
That's awesome, man. And then I want to know a little bit more about, you know, how do I put it this way? How exactly did you go from playing football to being that big super? Because you can't just be breaking records. You know what I'm saying? Then play college football and then end up doing music. You know what I mean? What was the turning point? I know that you said that you had a daughter, but you still overcame that obstacle. You were still able to raise your baby. You were in Vegas. My man's playing at a Big Ten school. At what point were you like, you know what? I love football and I hate to do this, or did you get an injury?
First, let me clean up. I played at Mountain West School. I played at UNLV. You know what I mean? But we played against plenty of Big Ten schools, Northwestern, Wisconsin, all of that. But no, I got my shot at the NFL. I kind of fucked it off. You know what I mean? I was supposed to be drafted. My name was actually on the board from the beginning of the third or end of the second round, beginning of the third round, all the way to the seventh round. I was the #1 spot. I was the best athlete available from the third round to the seventh round and never got picked. You feel what I'm saying? So
that's crazy.
I have fucked up some shit. I did some dumb shit. But anyway, in regards to it, I've tried to get, onto a squad for 2-3 years, did some practice squad shit with the Jets. It just never seemed like it was going to pan out to me, and it became more business than fun, and I didn't enjoy it no more. You know what I mean? So when I left high school, when I left college, I left UNLV as the leading all-time tackler in school history, and I played safety. You understand me? So I understand the game. I played the game. I know how to play the game. I was second in pass breakup, so not only can I tackle you, but I can cover you too. You feel me? So I felt like I had done everything I needed to do, bro. I didn't have anything else left to prove. I only wanted to play the NFL to make money. It wasn't about the love of the game no more. You know what I mean? So it was at that time.
Does it start to get probably more political once you, like, the farther that you get in that stuff? Because, I mean, the reality is maybe what, 2%? Not even. That's a lot to say. Maybe like 0.005% of the country actually get to play in like a Division I college for a sport. You know what I mean?
It's tough. Like I say, man, I just decided at that point, I got 2 college degrees when I left college. You know what I mean? I'm not an athlete who didn't get an education. I got 2 college degrees. You know what I mean? So rather than beating my body up, I decided to come home and do something. You know what I mean? And put my degrees to work. And I've been a probation officer. I'm a school teacher right now, bro. I've been a principal. I've been an athletic director.
That's dope.
You name it, I've done it. You know what I mean? I've done everything that was ever on my wish list, on my dream board. It's all been checked off, bro. And now I work a job that's for God. You know what I mean? I'm helping and teaching kids. And it was never something I wanted to do. I didn't go to school to be no damn teacher. You know what I mean? But this is the path that God put me on. And the crazy part is when I became a teacher is when my music career really took off, bro. Real shit, bro.
The community plug in.
No, real shit, bro. The kids, I say it to people all the time. If it wasn't for these kids, man, my music wouldn't be heard like it is, man. And I got videos of me being in Florida at a football tournament and they playing my song Mad in the background. And then the kids are asking me to sing it at a football game, bro, at a football camp. Like, so you know what I mean? Like, all of it encompasses each other, bro. This ain't just a career for me. This music is
you
another
just taught
way
me something.
Connected, you know what I mean, with these kids. And teach them something through music that they not getting in the age of music that they hearing on their own. You know what I mean? The music that I present to them ain't the same music that they hearing from the artists that they growing up listening to. I'm something different, but I'm also Coach Blacc. You know what I mean? So damn, that's my coach rapping. You know what I mean? Damn, that's my coach in the video. Damn, this is the man that sits there at the office every day and tells me, you know what I mean, what I should be doing to get my life right or how I should be focusing in my grades. It's the same dude I'm looking on YouTube. This is the same dude I'm listening to his music. Like, damn, coach, how you do all this?
That's amazing. So it sounds like it's more than just the music business. It sounds like you integrating into teaching. You're inspiring kids. Here's the thing: is like when I was young and I was in my knucklehead stuff, I never really had the right direction that I wished I would have had. I went to school and every time I got in trouble, even though that I could play a little bit of basketball, they would just kick me out and just throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I feel like if I would have had somebody like you in my life, I would have been able to overcome some of that stuff. Sometimes you just need somebody that's just a little nitty gritty to get you motivated.
Facts.
And so, and maybe I could be wrong, but I would say that music is also a good outlet. You know what I mean? Have you had any students that have tried to approach you like, man, I want to make a record?
I've signed students.
Yeah. Okay, wow. So you've
I've signed students. I've sat down and walked students through the process. So I have a Hispanic girl that I was working with at another school that I was at. She came to me. We did some voice lessons. You know what I mean? I got her in touch with some people, and I just got her a little distribution deal through a Hispanic record company so she could sing Hispanic music. You know what I mean?
I was going to say, you know marketing really, really well. One of the things that I learned was that you said the high schools. You know, when I was in high school, you know, I'm only 30, but when I was in high school, which is too long ago, right? They used to they pushed Lil Wayne and Gucci Mane on us so heavy. But that Lil Wayne loyalty stuck, and it's still stuck today. You know, when you ask most kids of my generation, hey man, who's your favorite rapper? Who's the best rapper?
Lil Wayne. Lil Wayne.
That's right. They're gonna come up with that that kind of thing. So marketing your music in that way, whether it be by teacher, whether it just be by running advertising, I think that's really amazing. But the opportunity that you're also creating for students, right, to be able to experience that is huge. I wish I had a high school coach or teacher that was like, "Yo, let's do this. I got you. That's what you want to do. I got you."
Hey, listen, right? It ain't really that easy though, bro. Because you're in I work in a field, and I seem to pick job. Like I've been a probation officer, right? When I was a probation officer, I was the youngest probation officer, and I was fresh out of the NFL. You know what I'm saying? So I was a juvenile detention assistant, and I was connecting with the kids, and I'm having a good time. And some of these probation officers have been there a long time. They kind of older, bro, and they used to doing things a certain kind of way. And here I am, 23 years old, like, hell no, let's do it like this, let's do it like that. No, let's, right. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people, even in the field that I'm in now, in career education, we have some teachers that have been doing this a long time. It's like, yo, don't rock the boat. Don't change what we're doing. And that's who I am, man. I'm a little rough around the edges. I wasn't no superstar educational kid. I didn't focus on education. Sports was my way out, bro. So that's why I try to give back to those kids that need it, man. Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say that's so huge, because think about on a grander scale of how many kids like that exist. You know what I mean? Like it's so bad, because some of those old school mentalities, they're good to a certain extent, but not everybody's receptive to them. Let's say you got 300 students and only 150 are receptive to that style of learning. It becomes a problem. You know what I'm saying? So, for you to be able to,
especially right now, this generation is way different than any generation that's ever been on this earth. And there's no generation, real talk, this real talk. There's no generation of kid that went through what this generation of kid has been through with COVID and technology. Like, bro, listen, man, it's under attack every day.
It has certainly damaged them. A thing that I'll reference. So here in Michigan, I'm originally from Grand Rapids. There was a huge national story. It happened at East Kentwood High School. There was a nice young lady who ended up getting kicked and beat up and punched by a man or a young male, and everybody just stood back and watched. To watch a guy beat up on a girl, it was like, yo, this is crazy. You know what I mean? It's definitely something you got to go check out. But I would say that some of that influence is coming from the internet. Some of that influence is not good. It's not good for it's just not good for them. Yeah, a friend of mine asked me today, he said, what do you think's better? The age of the internet or before the internet? And I said, hands down, before the internet. When we were outside being busy, being able to play sports, being able to just, use our imaginations, whatever it was, to actually have our feet on the ground, to have that connection to actual real life, I think it made us more well-rounded people. You know what I mean? I feel like all this digital stuff takes us away to a certain extent. You know what I mean? So
it traps us within our own thoughts, where sometimes your own thoughts ain't good, or they not feasible, or they not real, or it's not realistic, but yet you've been stuck in your own thoughts for days, and now all of a sudden you are blabbering or throwing up this exchange of thoughts throughout your head to real people, and it's supposed to be okay. No, listen, I hate to say this shit. It's gonna sound bad, right? But there was a point in time when the crazies didn't have a platform, and them crazy motherfuckers was sitting in their house by themselves. Their mamas had their ass locked up, and they didn't get to say crazy shit or do crazy shit. Now you got public platforms for anybody and everybody. It don't matter what age or where they at. Anybody can have a social media and say whatever the hell they want.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. Well, especially, when social media is so accessible and there's tons of kids on it, you obviously know, right? I think scientifically, brains don't fully develop till 25, right? So you could imagine these kids, like you said, they hear some nut job, crazy job, and it just throws them so far left. And they're out there, keep following that. And next thing you know, they chase the whole rabbit hole that doesn't really add to their life or benefit their life while they've wasted their time by. One thing that I really admire about you, man, is you said, hey, I coach, I teach. I'm way more than just an artist, because of the fact that there's more to life. I see a lot of people that get stuck, independent artists, and it's sad. They get stuck in this loop of trying to make it, or quote unquote. And I'm like, man, what are you going for? You already made it. You just gotta maybe they're trying to make a little bit more money. Maybe they're trying to get more press releases. I think this is the way that what they're trying to say, but sometimes they just don't have the right. They don't have. Yeah, they don't have the right information or the right navigation. So, not only being a musician or being a teacher, but being able to guide the youth to be able to put them in a position to actually be able to achieve their dreams or just get to touch it, it makes a big difference, man.
Bro, I've been signed by Empire, right? So I got my own distribution deal. We working on promotional deals, right? Bro, I never even thought. I mean, I was making mixtapes, bro. I was making music because I wanted to make music because I love music. You feel me? I also know that I'm gonna invest way more into music than I'm ever gonna get out of music, bro. I could become a millionaire and I'm still not gonna make back all the money I've invested in this music game. You understand? So it's never been about being famous for me, bro. I played football. I was already famous.
Yeah, no.
My name was already somewhere like to be important. So to do this music, man, is just an opportunity to be able to give back, kind of what you said, an outlet of sorts, but it's a passion more than it is an outlet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would say that it's that. I always looked at music as a vehicle to sell products or to inspire change. And, I say that with the 90s, Seagram's Liquor was really big, a couple years before I was born. It was in all the rap videos because that was the vehicle to move it. It's more of like a commercial. But I don't want to downplay. We're not going to move past that. What do you mean you got a distribution deal with Empire? How did you get that?
I had a business part. So I'm going back to my man, Luce, my engineer. He hollered at me. I was in San Diego living there at the time, about to move back to Vegas. And he was like, yo, man, I got this homie. He's got the opportunities with Empire. And at that time, Empire was doing buy-in deals where you could buy a deal. You feel me?
And the Master P way, like back in the day.
Yeah, and I was like, I'm cool right now. You know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of cool trying to buy into a deal right now. I'll come back. Feel me? I had already sat down and went to the football bowl game that's in San Diego. I forget where it is. We used to be in the Charger Stadium. Sony had sat me down and talked about my mixtapes. And they loved what I was doing, and they loved the idea and the creation behind it. I just didn't have enough followers. I didn't have enough minds, eyes, ears on the music, right? So when I got the opportunity to sit with Luce and talk to him about getting signed with Empire, I was kind of like, it's cool. I want the opportunity, but I don't want to buy into it yet. I don't have it. I'm not ready for it. Feel me?
So is
my business partner?
When you say that, you're saying that you went to go back and build leverage before you went and actually exchanged to do a deal?
I wanted to. I had already sat down with Sony, you know what I mean, and Sony had already told me like, yo, they love the idea, they love the creation behind the alter egos.
So there's a label battle.
Yeah, not really a label battle. They didn't want to sign me at all. They wanted to sit and talk to me and see if you can work on getting more ears and eyes on your project, more marketing. You're definitely marketable. You know what I mean? And they were surprised at how old I was because they didn't know based upon my pictures and my modeling pictures and the music. Damn, you're an older artist. I'm not no young kid. They try to talk to me as if I was 20s. I'm not 20. And at that time I was probably in my 30s. Like, that ain't it. You know what I mean? So
yeah, I was going to say, I could tell you're older than me, but I couldn't tell how much. And then like watching the video, but I think that's hip hop. It keeps us looking youthful. 2 Chainz, like Jay-Z. Jay-Z's like 50 something, but people will still listen to Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? Like regardless of his age. And it's almost like we're trapped in like a time period where all these artists.
The music is timeless. What do you mean? The music is timeless, man. And that's one thing about hip hop music that's different than other music, man. Like, you know what I mean? When you get to hip hop music, we grew up in this. You know what I mean? Some of us fathered this. I got homies that been doing it so long that they started this rap thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so I was gonna say, if you were doing it in the 70s and 80s, I would say hell yeah.
I got homies, you know what I mean? I got people that was doing it before I was doing it. You know what I mean? I got old heads that I looked up to that was rapping when they was rhyming and it wasn't rapping. You know what I'm talking about? So I keep what we fathered in as a cultural, you know what I'm saying, thing. This was a cultural thing for people in neighborhoods. So we keep that music going. Although everything now is diverse because hip hop is a part of everything now, right? Country music is hip hop. You know what I'm talking about?
They're trying to make everything hip hop.
Yeah, everything is hip hop, bro. The genre hip hop,
fashion, basketball.
Yeah, hip hop is everything now. Fashion, everything is hip hop. You know what I mean? So it's great to have grown up in that, bro. We changed the game, bro. Hip hop changed the game. You feel me?
Facts. We changed the world.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah,
absolutely.
No, it's certainly amazing, man. I would definitely say hip hop saved my life. Word to Lupe Fiasco. Because that's what I make that reference to. Because I know when I was in high school, if I would have had somebody that was, able to say, hey, man, you got a little bit of cool school in me, stick with me, you'll be all right.
Mm-hmm.
So to say that you just kind of got into a deal with
oh, my bad. Let me finish.
Yeah,
my bad. We went on a whole other tangent. My bad. So
no, it's okay. But I want to ask before you really dive into it, was there a transition from? Did they come approach you at basement? Did they come approach you in home? Is when you got that good sound?
They didn't approach me. They didn't approach me at all. My business partner went to the studio 2 weeks after I left the studio going to Vegas. He is sitting in the studio doing some work with my engineer. And Luce tells my business partner that Empire had offered me this deal and I didn't take it.
So this is at the time that you have the newer sound, though?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I just want to highlight, hold on. If any artists are listening out there, he's giving you game, is what he's saying. All right, go ahead.
We had I had got the new sound when I got to San Diego. Once I got in touch with, Island Swag and I met Luce, my whole sound changed once I got with Luce. This is probably 2 years later after meeting Luce, and me and Luce has separated and did our own studio in San Diego, that all of a sudden Empire is talking to us, and they offered him a deal and they offered me a deal. And then I turned my deal down. Luce went to go talk to my business partner while he was in the studio one day about it, and my business partner paid it.
Wait a second. Did that conversation go well? Because I feel like there's people that are powerful in the music industry and they don't like being told no. So you like, nah, man, I'm not going for that. He's like, then he runs back to your business partner. He's like, what's wrong with it, man? I offered it.
This is like my brother, man. So he was like, yo, I got this opportunity for him. And he said he didn't want it right now. My business partner was like, fuck it. We're going to get it for him. How much does it cost? We'll buy into it. I'll pay for it. You know what I'm saying? So then my business partner basically bought off my deal. You know what I mean? And it was my deal. Like, that's crazy. You know what I mean? Like, that's what's up. So
no, that's a huge deal.
You know what I mean? We've been locked in, bro, and we just been serving the community and working and making music and feel good music, man, and putting out hits, bro, and
awesome.
Trying to be different than what everybody else is doing, bro. That's my main thing, bro. I don't want none of my music to ever sound like nothing you hear from nobody else, bro.
Yeah, no. I want to make a correction that whenever I say sound, I'm talking about the quality.
Yeah.
I would certainly say that your music is radio ready, and I'm sure that you've already getting radio play. I could imagine for sure. Yeah, especially when you have Empire stamped on you. Well, that's amazing, man. I also want to dive back into a little bit more about the teaching because I'm curious about that aspect. I know that being the outlet is so important. I noticed that you mentioned in COVID and that being a battle for some of the students. And the reason I want to ask about that is because, and I could be wrong, but I thought at one point there was a couple suicides in the Las Vegas schools from kids during COVID.
You said couple?
But when I say a couple, I don't just really mean two. I mean, like there was a number that was weird, or there were some incidents that happened where kids were...
the number tripled higher than it had 2 years prior to that, bro. We had more suicides in a 2.5-year period of COVID than we had in a 10-year period of school period.
That is so crazy.
You understand what I'm saying? That's crazy.
That's really bad. So I mean, that's just farther proof that
that's a lot of mental health issues, bro. And then they wonder what's wrong with our kids right now, bro. You know what I mean? They've dealt with some demons. They've dealt with some real mental health issues, bro. And nobody's giving them any kind of therapy or a way to get like how to fix it. Nobody's come up with a plan to fix all the shit that happened from COVID. It's crazy.
Yeah. Well, just to touch a little bit on that. So like, just to, reflect on, just to give you a little bit of my story. So I didn't really have my life there. Like I was telling you, I had a kid when I was really young. And somebody circled back and they helped me out. Right. Wasn't my parents, wasn't my uncle, wasn't nobody in my family. Just somebody in the community that said, hey, that kid deserves a chance because he never had one. You know, I think it, and I could be wrong, but I truly believe that it takes a village to raise a child, right? It takes the community to raise them. And I feel like COVID not only did obviously affect children, but because I feel like it's weak in the community where I live. Like people are really like distancy and they're really like hands-offy and like they don't want to, you know, like it's just like, man, like the effect I think that it had on just, you know, the general public too has been certainly different. I know the students may have had some of like those negative effects from it. Did you see the teachers' behavior change? Did some of the teachers have a rough time dealing with that?
Of course. Being a teacher is about hands-on interaction with your students, right? You can't teach through a television screen. Yeah. You can't teach through a monitor, bro. You know what I mean? 100%. To have a kid understand that you're proud of them, sometimes it takes a touch of the shoulder. It takes eye contact. It takes a little nudge of the elbow, like, good job, son. When you don't have that human interaction, bro, and I'm talking to you and teaching you through a computer screen, that's not teaching. Yeah,
it's not the same. Hopefully this will do well enough so in the future I can start bringing guests in person, man. That's honestly my goal. Yeah, just because you know what I'm saying? Just so I can have the whole vibe. Like I got a couch out here. I'm gonna lay it out, bring drinks, bring the smoke.
It ain't nothing but for you to do it, bro. It ain't nothing stopping you but you doing it.
That's right. I'm getting there. Then so you're doing the teaching, you're doing the music. You got to be working on another album. The only reason I'm asking is because I seen. No, you're still pushing the Alter Egos.
365-day deal I signed with my man Devin. Shout out to my guy from AMG.
Shout out to Devin.
Yeah, okay. My man Devin. I signed a 365 deal with him, man. So we gonna promote this album for 365 days, period. So I ain't been writing. You know what I mean? I went to the studio a couple months ago and laid some hooks, and everybody was looking at me like, "Ooh, these some dope ass hooks. Let's do something." Nah, I'm still working. I got the other project. I'm doing that.
Okay. Well, you probably have catalog. I can imagine you've been doing music for as long as you have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's I got awesome. Links. I send you some links, bro. I got music everywhere. SoundCloud, Reverb, man. My website, bro. You know what I mean? All stream everywhere. You know
send me your website if you can. Can you plug some of that stuff? I know it's been 45 minutes. I don't want to take any more of your time, brother.
No, we're good.
But I do want to ask you as far as like your social media links. Where can people find your
man? Anything Ran Blacc, man. So I'm gonna first tell you, Google Ran Blacc, RANBLACC, Ran Blacc. You can Google it. The Google page, once you Google my name, will open you up to anything and everything I've ever done musically. Period. You know what I mean? It's all there. You know what I'm saying?
So when they search your name, you have like the big artists do where they.
Yeah, no, I am a big artist.
That's right.
Yeah, I am a big
artist. I always think like in reference to major label artists.
Yeah. I am a major label artist.
No, I know. No, I know. I'm just trying to put in perspective for people. Yeah, but I know when you Google, they be having the Spotify.
When you Google me, bro, it look like industry, bro. It's real industry. When you Google,
and then, what about the website? Is the website in that same thing, or is the website?
The website is there too, but you can also look it up at www.ranblack.com. You know what I mean? So that's on there as well. You know what I mean? We got another website that's coming up, which is going to be Crown Music, which is my record label through Empire. And then you'll be able to see a lot of my artists and some of the music that I'm putting out and helping other people do, producers as well. And then, you know, SoundCloud, Ran Blacc, Reverb, Ran Blacc, social media, all Ran Blacc. You know what I mean? Everything's under Ran Blacc. We talking about marketing and branding, bro. You already know.
That's dope. Yeah, you got it all the way around. My last question. Two more questions. And then I'm going to ask you like.
I got all the time in the world, my guy.
Okay, bet. All right. First one is, do you have merchandise on the website?
We got merchandise on our Facebook website. So you can go to Crown Republic merch and apparel. You can find that website too.
If you can, send me the link so when I go to edit the YouTube description, I can put it in the description.
Right. All of that. Yeah, we got all that. It's actually on my website. So if you go to my website, look at the bottom of my website, there's these turning pages. Each page that turns will take you to the Facebook page for my Crown Republic Entertainment Company, my Crown Music record label, and then the clothing line as well.
Okay. All right. Now are you ready for this? I always like to do this. I like to do like 3 different questions at the end before I leave you. But other question is what about services for artists?
What do we offer?
Well, because I know that you said that, you put one of those students in position. What if somebody sees this interview and they're like, hey, I need help. They're in Vegas. Are they able to reach out to you on social media and maybe get some of the help?
So I run a nonprofit organization too. I help 25 kids a year get into college, right? So,
oh wow!
If you were to ask people like, "What do you do with this program?" Like, I give a college athlete all the skills needed that they need before they get to college, so it will help them when they get there, right? So when they in college as a freshman, they're not baffled and surprised by what's going on in college because Coach Blacc already showed them this shit when they was a senior. You feel me? So that's the same thing that I do with my music company. I run it almost like a nonprofit, but we got a profit in order to keep the company running, right? So when you get a new artist, I introduce an artist to all the different things that happens in music, all the different things that you should probably know about music, kind of like that SAT test, ACT test, where there's a whole bunch of testing in music that a lot of artists don't know about, branding, copywriting, all of that type of shit. So it's a lot of information that needs to be given, A lot of people need to know exactly where they need to go and what they need to do because they just don't know, They just don't have no idea.
So you're a teacher, you got a Big Ten college degree, you were a Division I athlete, you're a music artist. I'm not gonna lie, man, you're the man. Let me find it. Can you speak multiple languages?
Now I speak a little bit of Spanglish, you know what I'm talking about? I speak Ebonics, you know what I'm talking about? Yeah, I speak, that's it. I don't do none of that extra shit. No, I know English.
Well, I'm just saying you got a lot of strong positions, man. You do a lot of great things.
I appreciate you, man.
I'm super weird into conspiracy sometimes, so sometimes I like to ask questions.
Me too.
Are you a traveling man?
I travel all the time, man. I actually have a tour that I put on, man, that I go around the country, man, and do different functions and, help people plan vacations and all that. It's called the Way Too Grown Tour, you know what I mean? And that's kind of about grown-ups having a good time, man, you know what I mean? And it's not really encompass music, but the more I do it and the more people recognize me for music, the more it starts to encompass more and more music. You feel me? So I do everything, man. Hell yeah, I travel. I love to travel, bro. I work too damn hard not to travel. You feel me? I'm in San Diego once a month. I'm on somebody's beach once a month. It don't matter if it's cold outside. I'm on the beach, bro.
No, when I meant traveling, man, I guess I was really asking you, are you a Freemason?
I'm third. I'm third rank. I got my ring in the room.
Oh, dope. Yeah. All right. I respect it. And then, so the last 3 questions that I want to ask you, these are always the fun ones. My first one is, what is your favorite food?
Everything. I'm really a fat boy. I'm really a fucking fat boy. You feel me? I'm really a fat boy. I'm from the country. I grew up in Kentucky. I was born in Kentucky. I grew up in Vegas. So I'm country born, city raised, and I eat everything. It wasn't nothing my mama put on the table that we didn't eat. You feel me? So I fuck with everything, bro. Facts.
No, that's a difficult thing to decide. I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. So obviously I know that in Vegas marijuana is legal, and so it is in Michigan.
Facts.
I have a hard enough time getting fried and going to McDonald's, and I'll be fucked over. I couldn't figure out what I wanted. They'd be standing there looking at me like, what's wrong with him? He doesn't know what he wants.
I'm loaded. I'm fucking loaded, and everything looks good as fuck right there. Yeah.
I'll take a snack wrap, a salad, a double cheeseburger, a little bit of everything.
Gotta get two doubles. Yeah, French fries, 4 French fries, matter of fact. Give me 4 orders of French fries. Make them hot, because they best when they hot. You know
yeah, sometimes, when you be showing up late at like 3 p.m., they be
they give you them old-ass fries. Yeah, they give you them old-ass fries. Yeah.
And then they be feel real guilty. That's how you know when they be shaking, when they be handing the bag. I'm like, shit, they fucked with it.
They gave me them nasty-ass fries and shit.
And they know it, too. I bet they feel a little bit guilty sometimes.
I bet they don't give a fuck, to be honest with you, if you want to be honest.
No, they don't.
Paid your money already. They don't give a
damn. No, I know. They don't get paid enough to care. All right. My second question is, if you could do any occupation in the world, and obviously I'm not talking about teasing, you know what I mean? I get that you're doing great occupations. I'm saying, I guess, what was your childhood dream occupation? You're gonna say football. Damn it.
Football. Yeah.
You know what? That question doesn't work for you. All right, never mind.
No, listen, in real talk, not to say it doesn't work, but by the grace of God, bro, I've accomplished everything on my dream board that I ever wanted to do, bro. I've done it. I did it. I did it by 30-something, bro. So my 40s has been living life like, yo, let's think of new shit to do. What else we want to do?
Yeah, no, I know you've done a lot of great things. So, but then when I said that out loud, I was like, that sounds stupid. He just told me he played football. No. All right. Then I guess I would ask you instead, because what is your favorite team?
Eagles, Rebels.
Okay.
UNLV Rebels, Eagles, Anaheim Angels, Vegas Golden Knights. My soccer team is Manchester U.
Okay. That's dope.
Who am I missing?
What about the Las Vegas Raider Stadium? I'm sure you've been to a game.
No, I don't fuck. I mean, I support the Raiders because they in Vegas, but I don't fuck with them like that. I'm an Eagles fan. I'm not going to that stadium unless I'm going to a UNLV game or the Eagles are playing the Raiders, and then I'll go into the stadium.
Fair enough. I respect it. I'm a Lions fan, and I'm an avid Lions fan.
Ooh, y'all just got it in on Mahomes now. That was a good game.
Hey, man, to be honest with you, I don't want to get my hopes up too high. You know,
they'll be all right this year.
It's been a rough past 30 years. I would say, so I like it.
It has been a rough past 30 years, for real.
Barry Sanders
rough since y'all lost Barry, for real. When y'all lost Barry, it was all bad.
Yeah, the only reason it was that good, though, was because of him. He was able to dodge, like, the whole team. We couldn't block worth shit. Yeah.
I have Megatron, too, though. Megatron was doing his shit for a minute, too.
Yeah, but when you're that big, you could just throw that ball high as heck. A good reference would be John Navarre throwing to, like, Braylon Edwards. John Navarre was such an overrated quarterback. He just had to drop back and just
and throw the ball. Yeah, Braylon gonna go get it, huh?
Yeah.
That's that. No, that's
another thing that I wanted to ask you, so I know that you don't like the Raiders, but what about, I hear they got some kind of like light show thing, some kind of big like futuristic.
The ball, talking about the globe.
What is that?
It's a motherfucking globe. You know what I mean? I'm the wrong person to ask about it, Eli, because listen, I got people mad at me right now because they be sending me pictures of the shit and they be excited about it, and I'll be like, what's the big deal? Like, what the fuck? Like,
I just didn't know if they had a purpose behind it. Like, is it a big advertising thing?
It's Vegas, bro. They just doing shit in Vegas. It's Vegas, bro. What attracts people to Vegas, bro?
The lights. They gotta love the lights and the palm trees and the gambling.
It ain't really a big deal to me. We used to have another thing that's kind of similar to it. It didn't light up outside; it lit up inside. It was at the Caesar's Palace. So when they built the new one,
you're talking about the big, the water thing, the water fountains. Everybody used to stare
I'm talking about. It's a globe just like that. It's called the OmniMax. You used to watch movies in it. You know what I'm saying? But it did the same thing inside that does outside. You just had to go inside of it. Now
that we're talking about
Max with a big ass screen that everybody can see wherever the hell you at. You could be in a plane flying over the city and
that's
see
scary.
Shit. Like
it's
cool, but it just ain't. It's a whole lot of things. Listen, don't take this the wrong way, but see, I tend to think about things differently, right?
No, probably not at all. I'm actually gonna. That's why I was like, wait a second. We're not leaving this interview yet because I want to talk more about Vegas.
Listen, we got Las Vegas, Nevada. Nevada has one of the worst educational systems in the country. Feel me? At times, we've been ranked 52, and I didn't even know we had 52 states. How the hell that makes sense? You understand? We got one street that makes multi-millions of dollars a day. And if they only donated 2% of their funds for a year, they could fund our educational system without a problem. You understand? So
I've never thought about that. Good Lord. Are the casinos are obviously they're not owned by the city. I would assume they're private though, right?
Independently owned, corporational owned.
Yikes.
Right. That's the difference between when the mob owned the casinos and the corporations came in and owned the casinos. The mob made sure the money went back into the community. If you ask anybody that was alive in Vegas when the mob ran Vegas, the community was a certain kind of way because the mob put the money back into the community. When the corporation started running the hotels, that's when you started to see that the educational value went down. We got one of the biggest homeless numbers in America, yet we're paying for a big ass globe that shows a TV screen? Like, what was the purpose? What do we need that for? You feel me?
Yeah, no, that doesn't make any sense. I've been fortunate enough to be to Vegas a few times. It's a cool place. I don't want to pump it up too much. I think after you live it, oh my God, you live in Vegas. What is it like living there? Do you see people that are like, this is exciting, but after you live here for a certain amount of time, it's just Vegas?
Bro, I don't go to the strip. I don't go to the strip. You know what I'm talking about? Like, when you live here, bro, when you drive to work, when you drive around, there's certain areas you're not going to because that's where the tourists are. That's where the traffic is, and you don't want to be involved in that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, be inconvenient.
Vegas is like any other city. We just so happen to be in the middle of Vegas. You feel me? And most of us that live here try to stay away from what they call Vegas. You feel me?
No, I understand that. Vegas is kind of nuts. I've been fortunate enough that people have told me, hey, man, if you're going to buy weed, make sure you buy it from the dispensary.
Absolutely.
I see people on the street, like people bugging, like,
yeah, no, listen.
I'm like, they got that Blacc.
I just left the dispensary today and bought a pre-roll. That bitch was 63%. I ain't never in my life seen no 63%, and I put that bitch up. I'm gonna put that up. I'm not doing nothing with that. We're gonna hold on to him. That's a birthday joint.
So one of my favorite dispensaries down there is the Reef. I know that you don't really mess with the strip area. What dispensary would you go on the outskirts?
I'm sponsored by Nuwu. So Nuwu, the Nuwu dispensary is actually a sponsor of my company, Crown Republic Entertainment. So they help sponsor our parties. When we do parties, they bring shag in. You know what I mean? They bring in T-shirts. They bring in everything.
Speaking of that stuff, one of the things that because they talk, I don't know if you've heard about the whole BRIC situation.
Mm-hmm.
The whole like U.S. dollar, and people are saying it's on the decline. Right? We talk about there's people that are homeless. We talk about that, kids need more educational resources. Wouldn't one of the best solutions would be for the federal government to just legalize weed, man?
No.
Why?
Because it's not true.
You don't think that's going to generate enough revenue to be able to take care of some of those things they need? Or do you believe because even if the revenue's there, it's not going to be...
Eli, how old are you, Eli?
I'm 30 years old.
I'm 45, bro. Right? Let me tell you what I learned about our government in my 45 years of life, bro.
So it goes back, even if they get the money, you don't think they're going to do what they're supposed to?
In the state of Nevada right now, the only reason why it was legalized is because it was supposed to pay for school funding. The money created from the marijuana business is supposed to go to school funding. They just got our teachers. Our teachers are on strike right now because they haven't been given a raise in 3 years. We are looking for funding right now for money to go into charter schools right now, brother. So if we're talking about the reason why marijuana was legalized in the state of Nevada was to help the educational system, then where the hell did the money go then?
So it sounds like a lot of it was being petitioned to look a certain way, and then once the corporate motherfuckers got to legalize,
Eli, where the money at, Eli? Where the money at, Eli?
Somebody's
pocket. Where all the money at? So, the money is marijuana has been legalized in the state of Nevada for probably about 5 years now, right? 6 years now. In 6 years, there has been no educational bump in salaries, nothing. They ain't built no new schools, nothing. The Raiders came out here and gave schools turf football fields, not the educational system. So I ask again, Eli, if the reason why it got made legal was because it was supposed to support the educational system, then my brother, you tell me where the money went.
I would assume to go to the Las Vegas Raiders.
No. Somebody else is paving their pockets with it. Tax money for the Las Vegas Raiders came from us, brother, not from the city.
Well, here's my thing. I don't understand how are businesses able to be independently in the city but not in the city? Or does it just go back to the whole government thing? Because one of the things I was reading about Vegas is they like some of the laws that are like apply in America don't specifically apply in Vegas.
Such as what?
I don't know about a specific laws, but there's like some kind of thing where almost like there's certain things that just don't like almost like they have like an independent like policing force, like an independent
no. The only thing that's different about Nevada law or work is that it's a right to work state. So your boss can fire you for any reason that they want.
For any reason.
They don't gotta have a reason to fire your motherfucking ass. You feel me?
That's why
everything else is taxes the same. You know what I mean? I think we may not get independent tax or so.
Well, I'm sure
tax or something.
I was gonna say, I'm sure the inflation is crazy there. One of the things that I used to always argue about with people is we need to eat more healthier. And their pushback was we can't eat more healthier. It's more expensive.
It is.
Bro, I was at the grocery store the other day, and they were selling a box of Lucky Charms for $7. You know what I'm saying? And you can buy like a little small, bushel of thing of like strawberries or raspberries for, $4.50.
Not true.
$5.
Not if you're talking about eating healthy. If you're talking about eating healthy, that means you would be eating organic. Organic is like $13.
Oh, you wanted to talk about the Dr. Sebi? If it ain't got
I'm telling you real shit. I got high blood pressure. I done had doctors talk to me about you got to eat healthier. You need to eat more organic. And then I come back to them like, well, who's gonna give me the stipend to eat that way? Because that shit is expensive.
Well, yeah, no, the organic food is a whole lot more expensive. So is the regular fruit just a placebo?
Yeah, it ain't nothing different than everything else we eating, brother.
Sometimes I worry, the same way that you say, the wrong people are not always making the right decisions with the power they have. Sometimes I worry how much that trickles into the food. The reason I mentioned Dr. Sebi is because I feel like, for years, the food is so controlled, and not only are we eating bullshit, but I feel like we're addicted to it. Like I know for me, like you said you like to eat anything, man. One thing that I love is my mom used to make a really good angel cake. You know what I'm saying? So now, like to this day, I could be a mile away from an angel cake, but I, kind of like when I smell, when I smell weed, I'd be like, "Where's that?
Yeah.
Where is that?"
Yeah.
So
no, it's a lot more than that too, though, bro. You got to think that they just legalized so that they could start selling us fake meat. So if it just became legal, how long they been selling us the fake meat before they told us that it was fake meat?
I'm scared to ask.
Now, if you know anything about the chickens and what they've been doing with chickens lately, they've been cloning chickens. We got chickens in manufacturing companies, people that got chicken farms where these chickens ain't got no feathers. They can't stand up. They so big and have been pushed with so many steroids that their bones are too brittle to keep their ass up. What kind of meat we eating, bro?
This is getting scary. When you tell me that they're being able to, I knew that they were making meat in the lab. I haven't really figured it. I didn't know they were like mutating and cloning chickens. That's kind of scary. And I'm going to tell you why that scares me. I'm sure you've seen the movie The Matrix, right? Yeah. So now if you can clone a whole chicken, they're going to get to the point where they could be cloning humans.
But they've been doing that, bro. What you mean? They've been doing that.
Cloning humans?
When I was a kid in elementary school, I remember them telling us about they cloned the sheep. There was this sheep that they had cloned. I was in elementary school, brother. I say to you again, I'm 45 years old, bro. Yeah. When I was in elementary school, they was talking to us about them cloning sheep. We sit here in 2023 and act like they only cloning animals.
Talking about
They've been cloning animals since I was in elementary school, brother.
I'm sick, man. You're gonna make me puke, bro.
I'm just saying, bro. That's what kind of thinker I am, bro. I'm not your average type of dude. I spent a lot of times reading things and paying attention to a lot of stuff that a lot of people don't. And I know in my 45 years of life, I've seen the extravagant expansion of humankind, period. I grew up on ColecoVision and Nintendo. We got Xbox X's now and VR now. Lasers and shit. What? Do you understand the transition of life that happened in my lifespan alone? But they want to tell us that there's no such thing as aliens, but there's been no evolution ever in a 45 to 100 year period like the one we just went through. Never.
Yeah, no, I was going to say one of the things for me that really spooks me out, because you say, well, I've been alive this long, they've reintroduced and sold us shit this over and over again. I remember being in elementary school. Remember, I don't know if they had this when you were in school, but they had like the Red Time magazines, but they were like a real thin one, and they would pass them around to everybody. They were talking about flying cars then, and literally, I think it was in July or June, they started marketing, oh, we have flying cars. I'm like, come on, man. Y'all been had that shit. And then Sometimes I like to go on deep dives, right, and searches, and they say that, quote unquote, there's nothing new under the sun. They're saying in 1900, some of the technology that we're talking about now or looking to build here in the next 20 or 30 years has already existed, right? What if they just keep re-wiping history, then reselling it to us over and over again?
What do you mean? They do that?
Bingo. So that's why it's almost like that Men in Black thing. Remember that little gun that he's
mind and shit. Yeah. But think about it's crazy. You ever paid attention how they say everything repeats itself? History repeats itself. Fashion repeats itself. This repeats itself. That's crazy. Why would these things repeat themselves? Why wouldn't we create new things? Why would they always be recreated?
Well, if we start getting down that road, then my show is probably not going to be around anymore, man. I'll just leave it at this. I get it. I know that they have they have something called television programming, radio programming, right? Obviously, I think that sometimes people that are a part of the hive mind, they somehow get hit with certain things that we just can't believe because we're like, I'm not falling for that, right? And what I've always tried to understand is, why does that happen to other people, but it doesn't happen to me? And maybe it's because when I was in school, I just had a real bad problem of asking why. Okay, we're going to take this math test. Why? Yeah. What for?
I am the why guy, bro. If you ask anybody in my family, they're going to tell you. It's not many questions I'm going to ask, but the first question I'm going to ask about anything is why?
Why? I'm the same way. And I would say at times it's gotten me in trouble, but it's also given me a really good perspective on life. If you don't mind me asking, Rand Blacc, and this may be too personal, you can tell me I'm not answering that because it's none of your fucking business. But I want to know, did you get the COVID shot, brother?
Nah.
Okay, smart. Not at all. Yep. That's a prime example. And that's the thing. It's hard, when I'm creating a YouTube channel and some of these things don't want to be talked about. But I don't give a fuck, right? Because the reality is when people see things and they see that there's something wrong with them, like I feel like this time, like they didn't even try to hide it. Like they were messing up speeches. They were throwing up bunk data. Like people were just so quick to just accept what somebody told them. And I was like,
but you got to remember, Eli, we've been doing flu shots since as far as I can remember. And I ain't done a flu shot. I haven't done a flu shot in years either, right?
Me neither.
But think about it. When you're raised in a culture where they say you can't go to school without these shots and immunizations, right? You become accustomed to saying, I have to get it because they said so. Right?
Right.
There's no other reason of them telling you, oh, you can't get in school. Why can't I get in school? Because we said so. Oh,
yeah.
What does the shot prevent me doing in school? Nothing. But you got to do it because we said so. You feel me? It was the same thing with the coronavirus and the flu and the shots and all that. Like, because we tell you to, you should go do this.
Right. Yeah. It's a very strong recommendation. Yeah. I've just been always the asshole that says, nope, I got a medical condition. I remember walking to Meijer sometimes and there would be people out the door. And I'm thinking, like, you guys are supposed to follow protocol, right? There was been times where I'd walk in there and they're like, sir, you need a mask. And I would say, no, I don't. I have a medical condition, right? That was the quick way out of it. There was sometimes people that would get upset. And, like, I get it. I may be lying that I got asthma, right? But at the end of the day, like, you don't know that. Do your job, man. You know what I'm saying?
But at that point in time, it is a job.
Yeah.
Everybody became a doctor in COVID. Everybody was a doctor in COVID.
Yeah. Well, I knew it was some bullshit when they were like, "Hey, man, we can get entered in to win $1 million. We'll give you free donuts, a free Happy Meal." When they start doing all these different things and to incentivize getting in, I was concerned. I was like, man, they hardly do free samples at Costco anymore.
Right? Why I gotta do it? Why are we giving away free shit for some shit you say I gotta have?
Yeah, no, I was so I worked retail for a lot of my life. I was working at Nike at the time, an outlet store here in Howell, Michigan. And this is what they told me. They said, "Hey, Eli, because they pulled me in the office. They want to talk to everybody individually because they don't want to hear what I have to say." So they pulled me in the office and they're like, "Hey, we just got to tell you, we're not firing you, but we're not going to have you on the schedule if you can't get vaccinated. And I said, that sounds like you're firing me, right? You've seen some of these people go through this shit. So I go back home, right? And I start writing up a letter, and I start getting different case law from the Constitution, and I send it. And luckily I didn't have a problem. But I'm just, saying that, yeah, some people, I think they get in such a fear mind state that they're willing to give up their life just to be able to get their $10, $12 an hour.
Doc.
Yeah.
And listen, when you start playing with people's livelihoods, bro, some of these people are paying single mothers, single fathers, working a job, barely making ends meet. And all of a sudden you telling me that if I don't go get this shot, I can't work no more? Well, shit, shoot me up so I can go back to work.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. They put them in. I mean, that's almost like extortion. It's closest thing to extortion.
It's America, brother.
It's crazy.
It ain't no different than what we done seen before.
So I want to tell you, I'm not a Mason myself, but one thing that I study a lot is astrology and numerology. I'm super fascinated by it. There's a guy that actually goes out to Vegas a lot, and he's a really big numerologist. You may have heard of his name. His name is GG33. You ever heard of him? So he is actually really big into that stuff. And one of the things that he pointed out, is just different things like this. But see, I'm having an MK Ultra blank, bro. Bear with me. I'm telling you, man, the weirdest shit be happening every time I talk about conspiracies. I know it sounds crazy, but like I'm really deep into that shit, like where I'll be tripping out. Look,
they might be blanking your ass, bro.
Listen, man, once upon a time, I had an opportunity to go out to Hollywood, and the way that it kind of happened was kind of weird. What happened was I was working terrestrial radio, and I named my album MK Ultra. I didn't have any money. I was a 19-year-old kid, and I was just calling on the entertainment industry. I would say this. I said this in an interview before, and this is so deep in this interview. Hopefully nobody will ever get to this point because I don't want anybody to hear this, but I truly believe that Hollywood is nothing but the entertainment division of the CIA. You know what I mean? One of the things that I think is really amazing, how culture has the influence over people. And with the COVID shot, that's where I was going. Thank you, GG33. This guy was somebody that was able to stick his chest out as an influencer. He got 11 accounts banned, lost all his followers, numerous times, but he was still able to stick his neck out even to lose everything that he had. I think when it comes to certain situations, when they were pushing COVID, I've seen a lot of artists, influencers, celebrities just stand in line and just do what they're told. And then they turn around and they influence the nation. I think also that's a really, really big problem. But I think that happens because of the low IQ.
I was about to say we live in a world of followers, bro. So people are even. This is what's crazy to me nowadays. People don't really have an opinion for themselves. People have information that they've heard from an outlet somewhere that they regurgitate in their debates and their arguments. They can't tell you the factual parts of the shit that they saying. They can only regurgitate the shit to you because they heard somebody else say the shit. You feel me? Nobody has an opinion of their own anymore, bro.
Yeah.
Nobody's doing research to formulate an opinion anymore.
No, that's true. And I think that's how so many people got duped, though. Because they take things for verbatim. But I think it also goes back to my educational thing. I was very lucky that they couldn't program me because I was just too hard-headed to listen to anybody. Sometimes I wish different. Not necessarily that I got vaccinated, but sometimes I wish that, that I wasn't in a state of questioning everything. Sometimes I look at people and I'm like, wow, that must be really nice to just not know shit.
I beg to differ.
No?
I beg to differ. I think you're a lot more well off in the state that you're in rather than acting like you know nothing about nothing.
I would agree. I just feel like sometimes, like I see like, they sell you that perfect image of just being the normal guy, right? With a normal house and a normal life.
But aren't you much happier knowing that shit's really not feasible? It's not really accomplishable. Aren't you happier knowing that there's traps and there's boogaloos that come along with trying to be the normal guy, the picture perfect person that America says you're supposed to be.
Yeah, it never worked out for me, right? But here's the thing is, I think that is also part of the program. I think a lot of people are so caught into trying to do what other people are doing, like you said, the influence, but also in the aspect that they're just trying to keep up with the Joneses.
Absolutely. What do you mean?
And I'll say I'm guilty of it, right? So when it goes back to the finance things, sure, things are more expensive, but I kind of have a coffee problem, right? I like to buy the really expensive coffee. I do it every single day. But then sometimes I find myself turning around and being, complaining about it when I know that I just need to make coffee at home. Do you have any insight on, because I know that not everybody can do music. What are other outlets, that people, that younger people should do to try to, make more money on the side besides music?
Bro, come on, man. There's all kinds of shit they got doing. So listen, first and foremost, kids are playing video games like crazy now, right? I'm a gamer myself. I love a good video game. But what I learned is you can stream a video game now and get paid for your entertainment. And people will watch you play a video game. I remember being a kid going to the homie's house playing Nintendo, and you didn't have 3 controllers. Somebody had to watch the other 2 people play. You feel me? Now
Smash
you can
Bros.
sit your ass at home and really watch somebody else play a game on YouTube, and they teach you how to play a game, and they're getting paid for this now, man. Yeah. So one thing I talk to my kids a lot about is, why are you wasting time playing it for the enjoyment of it when you can get paid for the enjoyment of playing the game? Spend some time, understand how it works. Invest in yourself. Go get the camera. Go get the computer. Go get whatever you need. So when you are sitting there and you're playing video games for 6-7 hours like you do, why not stream these things so you can get some kind of income from it? Or when they do the reconditioning shoes or remaking shoes or reselling shoes, like, bro, it's all kinds of stuff I talk to my kids about, man. I introduce them about making their own clothing, bro. You know what I mean? Introducing their own brand of whatever they want to. You know what I mean? You are your brand. That's what a lot of people don't understand about marketing.
You should be representing it to the fullest. No, I agree.
No. You are it. It ain't about representing it. When a person sees your brand, they see you first. Okay. When they see the Michael Jordan logo, you don't think they see Jordan's face? They don't see 23? Right.
No, that makes sense.
He is the brand. You feel what I'm saying?
No,
the logo's not the brand.
The reason that I asked some of your insight on that is because I get people that ask me all the time. They're like, what do you do? And the first thing I tell them, I was like, make a YouTube channel. You know what I mean? Which is kind of loose advice. I think that a lot of people don't understand that it takes effort, right? Like, sure, you can pull up Twitch, you can stream a game. But I think a lot of people, it goes back to that expectation. I think things are just going to quickly happen. Absolutely. And they really have to put in the effort for it. Is there anything else, man, that you want to talk about? Because I know that I kind of took it in a different direction, talked about conspiracy stuff.
It's all good, man. Listen, we on your show, bro. Nah, man, just go check out the album, man. We're so close to charting, man. I'm super excited for the opportunity to chart. You know what I mean? I'm super excited.
You're gonna chart Billboard.
To having the people back me, bro. I'm super excited to have the kids pumping the music, bro. I'm super excited. You know what I mean? It's dope. That's dope. Like, I'm just super excited, man. You know, God, I made a lot of mistakes in my life, man. You know what I mean? And I've given away a lot of my heart, you know what I mean? And I've done a lot for a lot of people, you know what I mean? But some way God always puts me in a good situation, a good environment, a good opportunity, man. So I'm just blessed, man, to be where I'm at, be who I am, you know what I mean? Be able to enlighten and fill up cups, you know what I mean? Be able to pour energy into other people, man, and still be able to receive blessings. Like, I live a great life, bro, and I ain't talking about millionaire shit or nothing like that, bro. I'm talking about I live a real enlightening life, if you understand what I'm talking about.
Yep. So I will tell you this, man. So sometimes I'll get some artists I interview, and they don't always have the same kind of knowledge and insightful. So I kind of pushed the envelope because I wanted to learn a little bit. So, bro, Ram Blacc, I appreciate your time. I appreciate you, bro. Hopefully, I'll get to see you in the future. I got to make a trip to Vegas again. Make sure that you guys go stream his music. We're on Spotify, Apple Music, the rest of the distribution platforms. Help My Brother chart Billboard. We will catch you guys live next time here on YouTube. See ya.
Peace.